Good morning again, Hampton 4th grade. Mr. Harris here with another lesson for you guys today. Today is April 3rd, 2020, and we're going to be following up with our lesson on happy hibernators. Our happy hibernators lesson is going to be another chance for us to practice inferencing. So as always, we got to make sure that when we're looking at a close reading document, we're ready to dive in with all the skills that we already have. Our first step is to preview the text. As we're previewing the text, we're jotting the genre and the thinking job. So let's look through this text that we have here. We know that our title is Happy Hibernators, and we see here at the end of the text a chart. This chart has information about the brown bear, box turtle, the big brown bat, the hedgehog. It talks about time of hibernation. It gives us a bunch of facts. When we're dealing with facts, we know that more than likely we're dealing with a text where our genre is nonfiction. Genre is nonfiction. If our genre is nonfiction, then our thinking jobs are the topic and the teach me. So we jot what our topic is, and you can find our topic typically in our title. Hibernators. And we stop and jot every time the author teaches us something new about hibernators. Alright, so let's jump in. Don't you just hate getting out of your cozy warm bed on a cold winter morning? On those days, hibernation seems like a really great idea. Imagine if you could snuggle up and dream the winter away like turtles, bees, hedgehogs, and bears. So here is a perfect time, if you didn't know the word hibernation, to write it down. Hibernation sleep during winter. Hibernation happens when animals sleep through the winter. They take this sleeping more seriously than we do, though. Many hibernating animals start getting ready months ahead of time. Mammals that hibernate have to eat extra food. They will live off their extra fat during their long rests. Some hibernators also need to find and prepare a cozy hibernating spot to keep them safe and warm until the spring. So here we can write hibernators have to prepare. A real hibernator isn't simply snoozing. Its body temperature drops and its heart rate slows way down. This is because it needs to conserve its body energy. In the winter, just breathing and keeping your body warm can take a lot of energy. Hibernators slow everything down to save energy. In this way, they can survive on the fat they have stored in their bodies. So here we can stop and jot that their bodies change to save energy. Box turtles are really champion hibernators. Depending on the climate where they live, box turtles can hibernate from 77 to 154 days. Their heart slows down so much that it only beats once every 5 to 10 minutes. Plus, they don't even need to breathe oxygen. They can absorb it through their skin. Hibernation is so important to box turtles that if they accidentally wake up too soon, they may die. So here we can write box turtles are great hibernators. Bumblebees are also real hibernators, but in a surprising way. As it gets colder, the other bees die off. The queen is the sole survivor. After she mates, she finds a place to nest for the winter. Her heart rate and body temperature drop so that she can survive a long time without food. Because she is the only member of her hive, she will have a lot of work to do when she wakes up. Here we can write only the queen bee survives. You might be surprised to learn that some bats are hibernators. Big brown bats live in areas where insect life is scarce in the winter, and they will hibernate until their food source returns. Their hearts slow to about 25 beats per minute, and they can go up to 2 hours without taking a breath. So here we can write that brown bats hibernate until the food returns. The cutest little hibernator may be the hedgehog. Like hibernating bats, hedgehogs feed on insects. When the temperature drops and the bugs are hard to find, hedgehogs will hibernate to make it through the winter. Their body temperature will decrease from 95 degrees Fahrenheit to just 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Because their breathing is so slow and their little arms and legs are cold to touch, it may seem that hibernated hedgehogs are dead. Don't worry. They're really good at getting through the winter. Hedgehogs can drop their body temp so low they appear dead. Cross that out so that we can actually see it. They appear dead. If hedgehogs are the cutest hibernators, the creepiest may be garter snakes. Garter snakes hibernate underground in groups. In really cold areas, as many as 1,000 snakes may nest in a single winter den. Imagine being around on the warm spring day when they decide to emerge. So here we can write garter snakes hibernate in large groups. A list of hibernating animals would not be complete without bears. Even though they are famous for hibernating, bears are not actually true hibernators. They do sleep for months at a time during the winter, but they are not in such a deep sleep as real hibernators. Their body temperature drops, their heart rate slows, and they can go for up to 100 days without getting up for food and water. However, bears are not true hibernators because they do wake up at times during the long winter months. Mama bears will even give birth to cubs during the hibernation. So here we can write, bears are not true hibernators. And that's news to me because I grew up believing bears were the first hibernators, or the most common hibernators. Of course, there are many fascinating hibernators, like the snail who can hibernate for years at a time. They all have amazing adaptations for surviving in harsh conditions. It's just too bad we humans have no excuse for staying snuggled up in bed when it's cold outside. And underneath we have the chart that we just discussed at the beginning. It says the animals, the brown bear, the box turtle, big brown bat, and the hedgehog. The time in hibernation that they spend: the brown bear spends 5 to 6 months, the box turtle spends 3 to 4 months, the big brown bat spends 6 to 8 months, and the hedgehog spends 2 to 3 months. The approximate normal heart rate: the brown bear is 80 beats per minute. During hibernation, that's 19 beats per minute. The box turtle is 40 beats per minute. In hibernation, it's 1 beat every 5 to 10 minutes. The big brown bat, 400 beats per minute versus 25 beats per minute during hibernation. And the hedgehog, normally, it's 190 beats per minute. It slows down to 20 beats per minute during hibernation. Next, we're going to jump into our questions. Today, I'm going to walk you guys through 2 questions. Then the last question will be our pop question, which you guys answer in Class Dojo. The way that you'll answer it is, you'll come in, you'll enter through your parents' side, and you can just write your answer down, and that will be your pop question for today. So the first question we're going to go over together is question number 4. Looking at the table, the reader can conclude that the time spent in hibernation is different for each animal because F, smaller animals need more time to hibernate. G, animals who enjoy cold weather hibernate less. H, animals with the most fur hibernate the longest. J, animals have different hibernation needs according to their body and the climate. So if we look at our table, we just went over it. Let's put our answers right next to it. F, smaller animals need more time to hibernate. Well, the hedgehog only takes 2 to 3 months, while the big brown bear takes 5 to 6 months. And then the big brown bat takes 6 to 8 months, while the box turtle takes 3 to 4 months. So that's not true. You can cross that out. G, animals who enjoy cold weather hibernate less. Nothing in this table tells us whether an animal enjoys the cold weather or not, so we can cross that answer choice out as well. Animals with the most fur hibernate the longest. The brown bear, out of all of these animals, has the most fur. It's the biggest animal, but it only hibernates 5 to 6 months, whereas the big brown bat hibernates 6 to 8 months. So that isn't true either. We're left with answer choice J. Animals have different hibernation needs according to their body and the climate. As we can see, there's variance, there are differences between each animal. Sometimes the smaller animal needs more months than the bigger animal, or even the hedgehog only needs 2 or 3 months. So we can circle answer choice J. This next one, I'm going to pause after I read the question so that you guys can try to work on it on your own. Question number 6. Paragraph 9 contributes to the reader's understanding of true hibernation by F, providing details about the most famous true hibernator, the bear. G, explaining why bears cannot be true hibernators. H, informing readers that animals can give birth during true hibernation. J, stating that true hibernators will sleep for more than 100 days. So if we look, let's see if I can get that side by side for you guys. Here you have paragraph number 9. And you can pause so that you can look at the question and have paragraph number 9 next to it. Alright, welcome back. So after looking at our stop and jot for paragraph number 9, we notice that bears are not true hibernators was the biggest takeaway from that paragraph. So let's look over it and let's look at our answers to see where we can find an answer that matches up to that. F, providing details about the most famous true hibernator, the bear. Well, in the second sentence says that bears are not actually true hibernators, so that answer is incorrect. Answer choice G, explain why bears cannot be true hibernators. Let's put a question mark next to it for now, because that matches up with our stop and jot. Informing readers that animals can give birth during true hibernation. Well, if bears aren't true hibernators, even if they give birth during hibernation, it wouldn't matter because they aren't true hibernators. J, stating that true hibernators will sleep for more than 100 days. The issue isn't that bears don't sleep for more than 100 days. They actually wake up during the times that they're supposed to be sleeping and hibernating. That's why they're not considered true hibernators. So you can cross out that answer choice as well. Answer choice G is the correct answer in this instance. Lastly, I'm going to leave you guys with question number 9 for you guys to complete, and I'll read it out loud. I'm sorry, not question number 9, question number 8. Look at the diagram. In this first box it says, box turtles hibernate from 77 to 154 days depending on the climate. There's a blank box here, and we notice that there are arrows going into the center box that says location and climate are important factors in animal hibernation patterns. And then in this last box, in very cold areas, garter snakes may hibernate in groups with 1,000 snakes. Which of the following best completes the diagram? F, location and climate do not change animal hibernation patterns. G, big brown bats hibernate if they live in areas where insects are scarce. H, mammals have to eat extra food to prepare for winter. J, a hibernating hedgehog's legs are cold to the touch. And again, you guys can message me that answer on Class Dojo. Message me directly, not your homeroom teacher. Mr. Harris, your reading teacher. Message me directly for that answer. Now for the attendance question that you guys will message to put in your portfolios for your homeroom teacher. Are you a good friend? Why do you think so? Are you a good friend? Why do you think so? Once again, thank you guys for sitting through another video. If you guys have any questions, be sure to reach out to me. Try to get in contact and stay in contact as much as possible. And thank you so much. Continue to watch, continue to stay tuned in as we work together through this online learning experience. Have a good day.